Welcome. r/AskReddit. What do people learn too late? How to study. I'm one of those annoying assholes that has never had to study for a single test, but has always gotten straight A's. I'm now 25 years old, have 1 year left of nursing school, and I'm getting E's and E's in all my classes, barely scraping through. Not because I don't understand the material in the lectures, but because I have no freaking clue where to start when studying on my own. I don't know how they all do it, because I never thought I had to pay attention when we learned this stuff as children, and I can't exactly go to my lecturers at 25 and say, hey, I know this sounds stupid, but I'm actually used to getting really good grades. I just don't know how to study for THEM. So I just wanted to let you know that it catches up with us in the end. If you've been one of those who've had to work your ass off for a C all your life and have wanted to strangle dipshits like me who've never had to put any effort in. Maturity. I have many subjects that I'm passionate about, and I seek out places to discuss, but even if I meet someone that completely disagrees with me, it's not my job or my desire to change their opinion or even discuss the subject with them when it has nothing to do with that relationship. And sometimes I'm absolutely terrible at following that rule. I'd always rather make friends than enemies. It's tempting to make another out of someone, but labeling someone a libtard/drumpfer reduces them to one subject matter and makes you lose out in what could be a valuable relationship that builds both of you up. That being said, there are toxic people everywhere, so have caution and prudence, but do your best to never dehumanize. You are the master of your own head, the big boss of Braintown, the alpha of beta thoughts. You shouldn't let stray thoughts or feelings control your life. It's perfectly okay to disconnect yourself from them and control your mental state. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness of your thoughts. Too many people these days don't understand that. They let their thoughts control them, unquestionably. The ability to tell your own brain, hey, fuck off, stop doing that, is so irrevocably powerful that it's frustrating how many people don't understand that you can do that. I think it's a realization that has to come through your own little epiphany. That friendships and relationships should never be so difficult to be in that it drains you of joy or throws you into depression. And if you are that depressed friend that keeps losing connections with meaningful people, it's never too early to get help. Even if you think you can beat it, it's temporary, or you don't deserve it. Toxicity in any person is inevitable as people grow and change. What separates the toxic people from others is that they refuse to or are unable to recognize their own toxic patterns and cannot change their toxic behaviors when they negatively impact others. And learn your own issues. Do self-work. You're always going to be better for it. How to not give a fuck about how others see you. Seems simple enough for me now in my 20s, but back in high school there were many fucks given about how others saw me. Ironically, those people that didn't care how others saw them were often the more respected ones. Edit. Sorry, I should clarify. It's more about how to not give too many fucks, not none at all. This is more about when you worry too much about what you're wearing, only saying what's cool, only being seen with the cool people, only listening to the music that will make you seem cool. If, for example, you are 16 and already onto your 8th boyfriend and all your friends are telling you to focus on other things besides boys, then you definitely should give a fuck about what they think. Social media can consume your life. It's not all real, and not everyone posting pictures is having a great time, and not every I love you so much we should catch up is genuine. Edit. Alright, I had no idea this would blow up, but I have to add some stuff to clarify. I wrote this because of the impact social media has had on my family. My mom will all the time look at the pictures of her friends and complain and even cry about her own life. It isn't just her, because I know for a fact that everyone in our community thinks the same way. They live to take pictures and show off on Facebook. Someone else I know is wasting money on expensive items when they don't have enough of it, strictly to make a woman jealous on social media. For some people saying that it's not wrong to comment, you are right. There's nothing wrong with positivity under the pictures of girls. It's not okay when it's entirely fake, and if you don't know that someone can comment something nice and still hate your guts, you've gotta be new on earth. I have had so many rage-inducing people around me who are obsessed with social media and are letting it ruin their lives that I can't stand it. Except Reddit. My name is Yoshikage Kira. I'm 33 years old. My house is in the northeast section of Moriya, where all the villas are, and I'm not married. I work as an employee for the Keimu department stores, and I get home every day by 8 PM at the latest. I don't smoke, but I occasionally drink. I'm in bed by 11 PM and make sure I get 8 hours of sleep, no matter what. After having a glass of warm milk and doing about 20 minutes of stretches before going to bed, I usually have no problem sleeping until morning. Just like a baby, I wake up without any fatigue or stress in the morning. I was told there were no issues at my last checkup. I'm trying to explain that I'm a person who wishes to live a very quiet life. I take care not to trouble myself with any enemies, like winning and losing. That would cause me to lose sleep at night. That is how I deal with society, and I know that is what brings me happiness. Although, if I were to fight, I wouldn't lose to anyone. Sadly, if you grow up around that kind of behavior, you tend to believe that it's normal. Somebody I went to school with got mentally abused by his parents so much, and always used to get punished severely for poor grades. He was also denied basic freedoms though. Even when he became an adult, he still wasn't allowed to go down to the local fish and chip shop without parental supervision, or go for a pint in the pub. He was also never taught basic life skills too. He's in his early 20s and is quite emotionally stunted to say the least. In fact, you'd think he was a teenager if you met him. The sad thing is, he doesn't recognize his parents are mentally abusing him. When he described his parents to me once, that's abuse. His response was, "They don't hit me, so it's not abuse." At least with physical abuse it's more universally seen as wrong, but mental abuse tends to be more subtle, and it can be a real mindfuck. Edit. I should mention, he wasn't from India by the way, he was from the UK, which is what made it more odd in my opinion. British families are not normally known for being this strict. I met his parents very briefly once, and they just felt off. I wasn't sure if they were mentally well, to be honest. One of my friend's parents called CPS to their home once, but because there were no signs of physical abuse, CPS didn't bother anymore. That salary amount is not the entirety of an equation when deciding where to work. You have to take into account the cost of living, commute times, the safety of the nearby area, and the convenience of living in the area. Studies have shown that taking a 20-minute longer commute is as bad for your job satisfaction as a 19% pay cut. On top of that, wealth equals money in, money out. If a new job pays 20k more, but if rent/property prices are 30k more per year, you are taking a pay cut. On top of that, you have to consider your future. Do you have to move to an undesirable location to work there? Crammed in a little apartment, where the nearest services are an hour away? What about air quality? What about noise levels? Is this a place where you want to start a family and raise kids? All of those play a factor in determining the desirability of a job. I'm a firm believer that my job doesn't exist outside this city is a bullshit myth. Even if you're a super specialized rocket scientist with a PhD in orbital dynamics, NASA is not the only organization with a job opening for you. About mental health. Too many people, myself included, neglect what issues they may have. It leads to bad outcomes. I'm learning this too late. If you have that odd feeling that maybe, just maybe something isn't right in your thinking, talk to someone. If you get a feeling that maybe, just maybe someone you know is struggling, talk to them, and, if possible, listen to what they don't say as well as what they do. There's still a stigma associated with discussing mental health, because it's a concept which scares people, but knowledge dispels fear. Be kind, for everyone you meet is carrying a heavy burden. That a lot of small things just don't matter. You had a best friend that screwed you over? Doesn't matter. It may hurt, but there are literally 7 billion cooler people on earth you can meet. Someone got your order wrong at a restaurant? Doesn't matter. Just don't go there again. Someone said something mean to you at school/work. Doesn't matter, you'll forget they even existed in like 10 years. In the long run, a lot of things that feel important at the time are really just small things that don't matter. And finding the things that do matter help you forget the things that didn't. The greatest life lesson I ever got was from a video game Assassin's Creed Revelations, more precisely its animated movie sequel, Embers. The protagonist, now an old man as we followed his life through 3 games, leaves a letter to his beloved wife, just before passing away peacefully, while sitting on a market bench, watching his children run around with apples. When I was a young man, I had liberty, but I did not see it. I had time, but I did not know it. And I had love, but I did not feel it. Many decades would pass before I understood the meaning of all 3. And now, at the twilight of my life, this understanding has passed into contentment. Love, liberty, and time, once so disposable, are the fuels that drive me forward. And love, most especially, mio caro. For you, our children, our brothers and sisters. And for the vast and wonderful world that gave us life and keeps us guessing. Endless affection, Maya Sophia. Forever yours, Ezio Auditor. What abuse looks and feels like in a relationship. This goes double for men and boys. We as men are taught very early what physical abuse is and that we are responsible for it. We are never taught to identify abuse when we are the subject of it. I learned far too late that it wasn't normal for my so to tell me I'm terrible at the things I enjoy, for her to tell people things I shared in private, for her to shame me publicly as a joke, for her to tell me no one else would love me if she left. It doesn't matter the tone they use or how often they apologize. They will keep abusing you, and they will always have excuses for why you deserve it. Most friends are disposable. I haven't spoken to most people I spent every day with at university. Once you spend a long apart you'll realize you were only friends because you had to be. I've lived abroad for a long time and I meet people who then move away after a few months/year, and I've grown accustomed to never speaking to the hundreds of people who pass by. There's a few who you'll keep in your life, and that's enough. Trying to make everyone your friend just makes you a fool with no real friends. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.